You don't need a lot of makeup to get a nice makeup look. Let me show you. For my eyeshadow and my cheek products, I'm using one palette. This is the NARS Laguna Ultimate Face Palette 1. This I found at TJ Maxx, but any kind of face palette like this is all you need, truthfully, to get a beautiful look. And you might be thinking, Jasmine, I see 2 bronzers and a highlighter, no blush. I got you, trust me. Anything like this is going to work for this kind of a look. And again, you don't need a lot of different makeup products to get a beautiful look. We are starting with the brows already done, foundation, concealer, and powder. Let's jump right into it. So we're going to start with the most obvious place here. We're going to start with the cheeks. And for this, I do like to mix these 2 bronzer shades here. If you have a different cheek palette, you can still follow along with this tutorial, as long as you have a bronzer in your palette, and then some type of blushy tone and a highlight. Also, we're ignoring the hair. It did not want to behave today, so I did not fix the bangs. I just pinned them back. Once you are happy with how bronzy you look, we will go ahead and move into blush. So for blush, since my palette technically doesn't have an actual blush, I'm using this pinky toned eyeshadow right here. It is a little difficult to get a bigger brush in there, but just pinch the bristles if you have the same palette or if you were also using an eyeshadow for blush. And be careful because eyeshadow is more pigmented than your regular cheek products. So just be mindful of how much you are picking up and how much pressure you are using to apply said blush, because it's going to be a little more pigmented than what you were used to. I feel like palettes like this are great for travel because you don't have to pack all your cheek products individually, an eyeshadow palette and all of that stuff. You have it all in this one small palette. It's pretty small, so it would fit into pretty much any makeup bag, and you are combining all of your colored products into one. Let's go ahead and jump in with that highlighter now. Again, any face palette like this will do. I have done looks like this before. I have the Laura Geller Baked palette, and I absolutely love that one. It has eyeshadows, blush, bronzer, highlights. It is very, very pretty, and I love doing that. Same type of thing with that palette. Now, that one is a little too thick to travel with just because it is baked products. The packaging is thick, so I wouldn't recommend traveling with that, especially since it is baked products. Baked products tend to break easier, so if you're traveling with it and it's getting banged around a lot, your products might break. Something like this, I highly doubt it's going to, especially if you pack it in there well. And you can see this highlighter is very, very pretty. NARS makes some great products, that is for sure. Like, look at my brow bone. I am beaming. Now, for the eyes with this palette, the only matte eyeshadow is that pink that I use for my blush. So I'm going to use the bronzer as eyeshadow. And I do this anyway when I'm doing like a quick makeup look. So I'm just going to start with the lighter one here. I will just take bronzer and highlighter on my eyes and call it eyeshadow and be done with it for a quick look. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the deeper bronzer here. I'm just going to use this on the outer portion of my lid, just so we have a little more depth. Now this palette is very, very warm, so if you do not like warm face products or eye products, you are not going to like this one just because it is very, very warm. But they do have other face palettes. A lot of times though with NARS, their face palettes are limited edition. That's the only bad thing. I'm taking that darker shade now on the lower lash line. But that's really the only bad thing about the NARS palettes, is a lot of times they are limited edition, so you just kind of gotta grab them when you can, if that is something you want. Or if you're lucky like me and you find it at TJ Maxx, you can go ahead and pick it up. I actually originally found this when I went out with my friend and I didn't have the money for it at the time. So I ended up going back and they still had it. So I'm like, yes, please. And I grabbed it. I'm so glad I did too, because I use this a lot for like quick makeup looks because I have everything I need in one palette. Now for the lid, I'm going to go ahead and mix this pinky metallic shade and the golden metallic shade. These are not super pigmented, especially how I'm doing it. I'm using more of a fluffy-ish brush, but there's just something about doing it this way. It adds like a whisper of glimmer and color, and it's so pretty. And normally I'm like a full metallic kind of a girl, but this is just a nice little whisper of color. Again, normally I like full pigment, and I'm kind of a snob about that, not gonna lie, but more natural days like this, I am fine with just a little whisper of shimmer. It adds a little something without being too much. Now, personally, this is a little dark for a lid shade for me. So what I do after this is really tap this off, grab a little bit of the highlight shade, and sweep it across the lid. And you can see this eye is a little bit brighter than this one. It's nothing crazy, but it does make a difference. Now I am going to go back in with that highlight shade for the inner corner and really brighten this up. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup. But I pretty much did a full face with this, minus like complexion products or eyeliner or mascara. But other than those products, you can do a full face with one palette. And here you have it, a full face only using that palette. I did add a little bit of a pencil wing, just using a brown pencil liner, some mascara, and a nice little lip combo. And yes, I'm still kind of on this lip combo, not gonna lie. This is the Kevyn Aucoin lip pencil in New Naked and the new Maybelline lipstick in Crop Top. I'm still on it. I'm still addicted. I love it. And I thought it would look really nice with this look. And then I just went with the pencil liner so it wasn't too harsh, but you get the idea. You can still do beautiful makeup looks even if you only have one palette, or if this is your only option for face and eyeshadow products. Like, you still have an array of options here and can get a beautiful look. Now, if this is something you are into, I do a bunch of makeup content over here, so definitely like and subscribe before you leave. Also, if you want to see another video like this, we can dip back into this palette or my Laura Geller one and do another full face only using one palette. Let me know in the comments, but thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.